Of animal adaptation. Caves can be a very dangerous and filthy place. However, small animals use it for survival, and it's a breeding ground of evolution. There are different types of species that use the cave for their benefits, and it also works as sort of like a safe haven. Yeah. Most of the animals are usually bears, but there's different types of animal groups in which one are just animals that go in and out and don't really actually depend on the cave to survive. In this case, the bears. And there's other animals that greatly rely on the cave, such as small fish-like creatures that have adapted to the cave environment and have gone blind, mostly because it's the caves are dark and well, they had no need for the eye, so they adapted to the environment. Well, this is the fish I was explaining earlier. This fish, as you can see, the pigments have become lighter, and it's a lighter color, and it has no eyes whatsoever. And also, since the food resources in the cave are really scarce, this fish has decreased its movement, conserving its energy because of the lack of food. Adaptation doesn't always occur. Animals rely heavily on their environments, though they can adapt. Drastic climatic changes affect the animals greatly. Animal species that have lived in a very distinct environment, well, they will adapt to it, and it takes them time to adapt to the environment. But when somebody comes, or nature, successes of nature occur, it affects them greatly, and so most of the time they don't survive. They don't have the time, and they can't adapt that fast. Like, for example, here came a hurricane, and it destroyed all the trees, and so now people are trying to save the animals from this environment and taking them to another environment so they can that environment which they had already adapted, which the chances of them surviving is better. There are many factors contributing to adaptation. Adaptation is known for surviving. However, many factors influence adaptation and make it more distinguishable. Different animals, for example, bats, climb the caves, so they rely on climbing the caves, living on the, you can say, a rooftop of a cave. So they need claws, and so after so much time, like relying on the claws and climbing different types of rocky structures, the claws become larger and they change. For example, the giraffe. There are tall trees, so the net really helps the giraffes to survive in the wild, and they also have adapted to the environment. Like I explained the fish earlier, the eyes, the pigments, and the slow movement has permitted it to survive adaptation. Well, the pigeon is the most obvious. The beak for different kind of seeds, and after time, the beak becomes stronger due to its environment which it eats. Like, for example, if there's soil like loose ground, the beak won't be that strong. But if there's like city streets, the concrete makes the beak stronger. And as I explained, the claws become larger as the environment changes, like there's big cracks, or there's very little amounts, or there are even small trees. The cloth will change. One can think that the human species is the only that can use science as means of communicating. However, animals have long used science as a means of adaptation in their habitat. By science, adaptation means there's two different types of science adaptation, which I mean, one is crucial for survival, and the other is just for just intellect, as a sort of like humans, basically. Like for example, animals, like like foxes or any other wild animals actually look for trails of other animals, and will use their nose to sniff and look for signs that enables them to locate their food, therefore adapting to its environment. And us as humans, we should see the signs, and we don't really rely on the signs to know what's going on. I mean, to survive, but it's just to know what's going on. Recent research, scientists along with pharmaceutical companies are studying caves in order to find cave secrets that can influence human survival. They're trying to distinguish what permits, like what kind of cave resources helps these animals survive for so long, and how it permits it, how it gives it time to adapt. Adaptation has served humans and along with other animals as a biological response to survival dependency. For example, Charles Darwin, one of his quotes, "Survival of the fittest." Adaptation can also be seen in many animals. You can say dogs or pigs. Like for example, you might have house pig, and what I'm trying to mean is those type of pink pigs which you raise to eat. And it's that pig. I mean, it's been studied and researched that pigs that are released into the wild, those pigs will eventually adapt really fast, and their color will start to change, not from the pinkish to more darker color that will help them survive in the forest, and also their hair starts changing and growing. And so there are also many types of adaptations. The pig is not actually the only one. I actually have a dog. My dog, as the different types of seasons come by. Look at me. My dog changes. The coat starts to change from different colors. From the winter, it was a lighter color, but now that summer has arrived, it has become to a more darker, more thicker color. And so adaptation is good for survival, and it helps all of us. Without adaptation, evolution wouldn't be possible. Evolution needs adaptation, and so the different types of adaptations are really crucial for survival, and it determines the endangered species to be extinct of any kind. Okay, that's all. Thanks.